It looks like it might just be me today. I'm running so far behind on my day right now. Um, I have meetings this afternoon that I have to prep for. So I did my prep this morning as I was doing work and more work and more work, which just gets in the way of doing writing. As of right now, I started a new book yesterday, and I'm already 5,000 words into it. It's going to be a much longer book than my previous ones, I think. It's much more sci-fi. It takes place supposedly a couple hundred years in the future, after a massive computer virus wiped out all data and storage. So it's been fun. I've been using it as the idea behind a serial on my blog, that lets my, you know, readers have a little something here and there as I go along. So that's good. Because I've already written the first draft. So yeah, that's kind of what's happening. I'm going to be doing a sprint. Do, 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 1220 to 1240. I changed my word goal. I'm up to 3,000 a day, I think is what I set it at. Um, and I'm, you know, already partway there. Um, Yesterday I wrote like 3,500 words, which for me is pretty good. I crossed over the 200,000 word barrier for this year. So if I keep up with this, I will hit 400,000 words this year, which is 5.5 novels. Um, so that's kind of the big goal. The one I'm working on right now, I don't think would be released until fall ish. And I'm going to probably release a little bit slower. I'm not going to try and bank up a whole bunch of books. I already have 3 sitting on a shelf waiting to be edited, which reminds me, the famous red pen of doom. Um, I'm going to start editing today, I believe. Um, I don't like editing. It's not my favorite thing. I would much rather just be writing, and I can write and write and write and write and write. I never get bored of that. Um, it's kind of like, you know, hanging out with some really cool people, and some of them just so happen to have superpowers. So, um, but yeah, that's kind of what everything is going on at the moment. Um, do, 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 do. I have to kind of reread what I wrote last night because I ended in a really weird spot. My character's talking to her computer, who is named Cindy. I don't know why. It was the first name that came to mind. I was going to name her Karen, but I feel like there's too much Karening in the world right now. Um, in the Discord chat right now, we're talking about the things that Amazon unofficially will throw you into the dungeon for. Like, there are rules about what can be published on Amazon that are not written anywhere. And one of the big ones is erotica, just so kids won't accidentally search for it. It gets very narrow on how you can actually search and find it. And because a lot of paranormal romance writers write shifters, there's a very fine line between shifters getting it on and just blunt bestiality, which you would think would be such a horrific thing, but it is a big market. And so it's one of the things that can unofficially get you blocked and deleted on Amazon. And we were talking about how there are some really famous authors who really walk that line and how they have managed to avoid the dungeon. So my books are not nearly saucy enough to get me banned from anything. I feel like when having this conversation, I'm like the tamest guy in the room. So yeah, so far 5,500 words for this. Oh, Kaleem, I never think to bring this up. Thank you for asking that. Is the writing Discord you're on a public server? It's kind of public. We started it for the New England speculative writers, but very quickly it grew beyond that. So why don't we, if you're working on some writing and you want to sprint along with us, let me find that link. Yeah, we're very we've expanded beyond New England, and now there's superhero authors from around the globe in there. There's space opera folk from around the world. I think I talk mostly to people from Florida. We have somebody from Costa Rica in there. So it's a little bit, it's a hodgepodge. A lot of us are in New England, but by all means. Basically, as long as you're willing to write, come on in. That actually reminds me, I need to put this back out to the superhero authors at some point. Woot! A convert. Kaleem is going to join us in sprinting. This makes me excited. I get more excited when there's other people doing it with me. So it's a cool thing. Yay, more people. That reminds me, Kaleem, I'm going to put this back out to the superhero authors, and then I'm going to hop into the sprint because I'm always late to sprinting. Now Kaleem's in on the sprint with us. So I'm going to mute and I'm actually going to do some sprinting. Woot! 461. I'm actually really happy with how this is turning out. I don't think I ever say that when I'm actually writing. I think it's definitely helping that the plot, I've already written the plot once because I did it in first person, but now I'm getting to have a lot more fun with the world building, and because it's sci-fi, like I can focus more on the actual world building pieces of it. Don't mind me while I eat. So Bard, what are you working on right now? Actually, hey, 129 words is 129 that you didn't have before. So I think any words are always a good thing. Kaleem, how about you? What are you working on? I need inspiration. I'm gonna set up a sprint for 50. Oh. I don't know what's holding up the sprint. Oh, high school superhero. I definitely have questions for you then. So I am. It works really well with the world that I'm building right now. I'm thinking about doing. I don't want to use the phrase academy series, but it's an academy series in my superhero universe. I mean, academies are hot right now. It's this whole school magic, whatever. And I think it would translate really well into superheroes. So I think that's a smart move. It's on the docket of things that I want to write. I just don't know if I'm going to be able to get to it while it's still a good trend. I think my superhero romance will come first. Oh, so you have a little bit of a mystery element, or like a, I don't know, for lack of a better term, Nancy Drew type piece in there. Ah, space opera, the bread and butter. Um, I'm in the Discord with MD Cooper, and whoo, she can turn out a space opera like it's nobody's business. I will be the first one to say, like, I get a little bit jealous of how fast she can put them out. And Bard, I feel you. I'm actually thinking about doing superhero romance, not because I really want to write romance, but I know that there's big bucks to be had there, especially if it's on the sexier side. So I can write anything. I have no problem with that. But sometimes you got to go where the money is. I would definitely like to give up one of my day jobs. Unfortunately, I make really good money at it, so we have to see. Yeah, superhero romance is, if you go look at the superhero category, it's all urban fantasy, and the only superhero novels that place in the top 100 are superhero erotica. Um, and I mean, it's bluntly erotica. Like there's no skirting around it. Um, Jamie Hawk is one of the really well-known people for it, and it makes Jamie some serious money. Um, hey, Alley Cat, welcome to the party. Um, yeah, the problem with, and this isn't going to be, this is a personal, I can't say this is a universal. People who are fans of comic books are not fan of novels. The crossover folk are few and far between. So definitely being able to say like, hey, my books are very much X-Men and X-Force of the 90s. Being able to make that connection makes comic book people go, oh, okay, maybe I'll give it a shot. But I thought there would be a hell of a lot more crossover, and there's not nearly as much as I hoped for. Not that there isn't an audience, just it's not the audience I thought it would be. So getting Sprint set up. Yeah, I would think, I mean, realistically, like with Marvel doing so well in movies, DC doing so well in TV shows, there's cartoons, I mean, galore. There's all of this superhero medium out there, and I'm almost wondering, like, is there so much that there's not a solid place for novels? Which my prime demographic are women over the age of 55. My romance plots are really light. My blood and gore is pretty high. It's very dystopian, apocalyptic, and they love it. I would have thought my general audience would have been like 30-year-old men who, grew up reading comics. But apparently my market research was slightly off. So I have like 18 bajillion chats open at the same time. Discord, YouTube, Messenger. If you want to know why my word counts aren't higher, it's because of that. Yeah, Bard, I would absolutely say like there is money to be had there. If you look at Darius Brasher or Jeff Haskell or Lucas Flint or Justin Sloan, there is good money to be had in superheroes. It's just tapping that audience correctly. Lucas does a lot of teen style superheroes, very Spider-Man, a lot of ice powers. Jeff Haskell has a young woman of color who builds a suit. His books were before Riri, but very Riri-like. Justin Sloan is supers in space. So maybe there's a way to do combining your space opera with some superhero stuff. Yeah, if you didn't get a chance to see the superhero fiction panels, he did a panel specifically. He moderated a panel for us that was the powers behind supers, which is a really cool Um, I was in the chat doing the tech stuff, but I had a notepad and I was writing down notes as they were talking because I just thought that was super helpful. Um, Ali, yeah, I'm really bad about the multitasking situation to the point where I know it's affecting me. Even having this open to chat with people while I'm writing, takes some brain power. And let me fix the banner because we're going to go into a chat sprint right now. I always forget to update it. I'm sorry, guys. All right. Colleen, Bard, Ali, it's time to make some words happen. Finger guns. I haven't had enough coffee. Or maybe I've had too much. Who knows? Oh, Bard's asking how often do we do the chats? Um, we do, since we're all, home because of quarantine, we do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Eastern time. And then on Thursdays, we do sip and sprint. So we drink cocktails while we write. And that happens at 6 p.m. Eastern time. So always here. If you are interested in joining the Discord, I do believe, I think Ali might be in there if you're who I think you are. I'm not sure. But if you want to join the Discord, there's some great authors in there. Colleen from Facebook just hopped in and is now doing sprints with us on there. Let me know and I'll share out the the link for that because the sprints go on literally all day long. There's always someone banging out some words. Okay, I'm gonna mute, but I'll keep the chat open so I can distractedly write. 380 this time. And good news, we have the lovely Karen Diem with us.
It'd probably help if I unmuted, huh?
How's it going?
Oh, okay. As you can see, I am here promptly at 12:10.
Hey, it was supposed to be originally at 12, so I was late to my own party.
Well, if it's your own party, I mean, it's not like the beer's going to get there before you in that case. So,
I I set the rules and I plan to break them every chance I get.
yeah, I was just like, oh, well, I'll just put lunch on the table and eat something quick, and then they can handle everything else. And it's like, no, they can't. Maybe when she's out of elementary school.
How old is she?
7.
Oh, that must be really difficult with the whole quarantine thing.
It is. I am pretty lucky that her teachers are awesome people and they give her lots of work. I mean, they keep putting this word on there optional, but she may run into problems on vocabulary tests later because we tell her that means required. So we just have her doing, everything they assign her. And then they've given us like paper versions of the same work that's on the computer. So if we run out of computer stuff one week, we're like, hey, time for a review worksheet. And we give her some of that.
What we're doing, so I teach at the high school level and we are giving work, but the students know that their grades can't go down as of March 11th. And so all my students who have hundreds are like, why would we do this? There's video games to play.
My sister's a high school teacher, so I have heard this.
And I mean, to be quite honest, like in the grand scheme of things, like I teach graphic design. Is what I'm teaching gonna, really alter their lives? Just survive, guys. Just.
My sister teaches history and psychology. So.
Oh, that must be. I mean, I bet you there's a lot of awesome resources for it.
There's a fair amount of pretty cool resources, but it doesn't have, honestly, the verve that graphic design does. So it's not like the cool class. You get the smart kids, but again, their grades can't go down. So why not sit on wherever kids sit these days online, and like complain to your friends about how bored you are instead of sitting there reading about, and here's Freud's theories. We've mostly discredited them, but man had a funny obsession you guys should hear about.
The downside for graphic design is I work in a really low income school and these kids don't have computers. They use their phones. So that has been a little bit of a struggle. So for me, I'm making them go back to like rudimentary art skills, which I'm an art teacher first. So that's been kind of nice. And my class is kind of like the low stress class. But out of my 100 students, 60 of them don't speak English. And I'm now writing lengthy directions to them and then Google translating, and they write back in whatever language and then I translate. So it's been challenging. I like it. It's fun. But I think the wonderment of it is officially over.
Yeah. For the first 2 weeks, my daughter was, yay, time to do schoolwork. And now we're having to check on her periodically to make sure she hasn't snuck off to go play some of those school-provided educational games, which are much more fun
than
circling adverbs or.
Oh, and that's like, I feel bad for like math teachers or history teachers. Granted, you have some students that are like, yes, I love this, but a lot of the times it's
in math,
hard.
Really?
Yeah, I was not one of them.
I don't have math brain. Mr. Diem does. So we kind of have a running deal that math and science is all him with the kid.
Okay.
And I mean, I've taken actually kind of a crap ton of science because I took a really long time to get through college because I was supporting myself at the time. And when you got to work, you got to work.
I took the
Go ahead.
physics of music.
I think I have 15 to 20 science credits
Oh,
as an English major.
well, that's kind of like I'm technically I have a math minor because I originally started out in computer science, and so I did a lot of math classes. I mean, I did not do any of them well. I skated by with C's, but and then all my computer classes were like math logic classes. So I technically have a math minor, but I am not going to brag that to anybody.
Yeah, I don't have a minor. The school I was at, I was like, hey, since I have to take all these science classes, I have all these science credits anyway. Can you just like give me a science minor so it'll look cool on my diploma and I'll feel like all this money I've paid you guys is worth something, versus you going, no, that one, geology does not fulfill the science requirement anymore. You have to take something else. So I've taken like geology and ecology and botany and psychology, the physical aspects of it rather than the therapy.
I did
so like more brain chemistry.
I did a lot of like sciences that you can touch. So like physics, I really enjoyed because you can see physics in action. When I had to take chemistry, ooh, that teacher just wanted me out of there. My hand was permanently up being like, I don't understand this. I want to, but I don't.
Anything that required math kicked my butt. And I mean, I tried. I had a couple friends I asked to tutor me, which was a big mistake because they were good at it. And they're like, well, and then you just do the whatchamacallit and remember so-and-so's law. And it's like, what? I don't understand.
Since college, when was the last time that you had to multiply something and know the mole of, or, a quadratic function, or I have Wikipedia for this.
Yeah, I can tell you that a mole is a small mammal that's adapted to a subterranean lifestyle, and probably give you some facts about it because, I did take a class in like beginner zoology or something like that because it didn't involve math. But I could not tell you what a mole is anymore. And my husband, every now and again, I have to go, honey, some of us do not have physics degrees.
And the thing is like, you would think that you're capable of doing, grade school science because you took all these classes. And then you see what they're learning in school now, and you're like, the high school math classes are more advanced than the college math classes I took. I couldn't keep up with those kids.
Yeah, I know I couldn't. I mean, I did everything I could to avoid taking calculus in high school and college. And I succeeded, but I don't know if a kid could do that now.
I took mathematical theory, and I really enjoyed the theory of it because there was no math equations. It was just the back end of why math is math. And that was wonderful. But like pre-algebra in college, I was like, C- score. That's a great grade.
Yeah, I think I took like my college math was called something like Algebra 2 Trig.
Oh, yeah.
Basically like, you've had algebra before, you kind of sucked at it, but we'll give you credit that you at least took it in high school.
I did really well in geometry because a lot of that, and this is how I wound up taking the math theory class, because you have to remember all the postulates and theorems.
Oh, I'm terrible at that.
And
I'm not orderly.
I don't memorize anything.
I'm not orderly enough to go, oh, and now I just use this theorem to do that. No, I'm like, there's something about, the circle where the two halves, they make up the full number, but really, why don't you just get like a tape measure and measure the circle? Why are you only measuring half of it if it's a circle?
My teacher would look at because you would get a math equation and you would have to apply all the postulates and theorems to prove why it is what it is. And he would look at me and go, "You're wrong." And I'm like, "No, I proved it." And he goes, "You basically just tried to like unravel basic mathematics using these formulas. Like, you need to stop."
You know who I'm a little in awe of? I am in awe of like handymen and construction people who do like all that geometry like in a glance in their head. Because I've had the misfortune of having to remodel bathrooms that are falling
Yeah.
apart, or rather have someone remodel them for me so that, health codes and all that, building not falling down. And I've had them like walk into the room and go, okay, this will be about so many square yards of that, so many square yards of this, and or meters or something, some measurement. And
So
I'm just like, that's magic.
I'm in an engineering department at work. It's the way it weirdly fell. And one of my coworkers, my mentor, is the CAD teacher and the woodshop teacher. And every time, like I remodeled my kitchen, so I would go in and use the wood shop to cut stuff. And he would look at me and he'd go, "Do you know how to read a ruler?" And I was like, "Yes, I need to do this right here." And he goes, "What's the fraction on that?" I'm like, "If there's going to be a test on this kitchen will never be made."
Yeah, I have to just save up the money and have someone else do it for me, because I'm just, my brain does not work that way. So like I said, I am in awe of people who can do that. And if there's someone listening who can do that, you rock. I have some work that needs done if you want to give me a discount.
Okay, so
I don't have a lot of money to go with it.
Since this is your first joining us for live writing, for anyone who's curious, Karen Diem writes the Arca series. We have people who come in and write along with us. It's kind of fun. But we do sprints, 20 minutes on, and then however much off. Some days it's a lot of talking, and some days it's a lot of people yelling at us to write more. So it just, who knows what you get. And I'll put up the banners for when the writing is, and you can already see that I'm really wrong with this one. Because I always get the times very wrong. It's 1:15 to 1:35. There we go. See, math. I'm already bad at it. So I'm gonna mute and try and bang out some words, and then we'll come back together at 1:35 and see who got the most words.
Okay, I have held off doing any words today so that I don't have to do math to figure out how many words I did.
The answer will always be not me.
I don't know, depending on how much thinking I have to do, because sometimes I just sit here and go down too many rabbit holes.
I'm technically rewriting a draft right now, so the outline, I've already written 40,000 words of the story, so I know exactly where I'm going. So I'm speeding up faster than normal.
I'm still in the early stages of my book 6 in the Arca series, so I've kind of got an idea where I'm going. And I've got a few chunks that I've written here and there that I have to stitch together and, kind of see where it's going. I do like an outline because I have to have my outline to start, and then I start writing and I kind of go everywhere but the outline. So we'll see where I'm going.
Yeah, I have definitely become an outliner, not super detailed, but at least enough that I know where my story is going, because my in the last trilogy I wrote, the middle book, I scrapped 45,000 words because I hated it, and I was like, that's a lot of words to throw away, but it needed to happen.
Yeah, I generally get I keep the broad strokes generally. but everything in between that is subject to change as I'm writing and I'm coming up with, ooh, this is an even better idea. Though I have had a few things I've had to drop out of the books. I had like this cave scene in one book where they were like hiding from bad guys and then like dropping down on the bad guys. And I'm like, I really don't need this in the book, and that's a shame because it was such fun to write. I mean, even if I did write guano far more often than I ever expected.
So, Allie, this is what I should be doing instead of writing, and even the red pen sitting on the desk, but we're just going to push it off to the side for a little while longer.
Okie dokie.
Don't want to do it. All right. I will be back at 1:35.
Me too.
In time.
Piffle.
205 words.
Yeah, I only got 140.
Hey, that's more than nothing.
Yeah.
Um, I'm over 1,000 for the day, so I'm not doing too shabby.
Yeah, I just have those like 140. Like I said, I was trying to make it easy on the math, and I was like, that, and it was one of those mornings where everybody was needing something. There is some kind of big truck in the area that was upsetting the dogs. So I swear this morning it was like every 15 minutes.
Oh, that's annoying.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of can't blame her. And I mean, she's a hound, so they're vocal. But
My parents' boxer uh, doesn't bark as much anymore, but he like it's not a cry, but he tries to speak to them. It's so weird.
yeah,
Um,
I think at least some of her barks are come over and hang out with me. But she had the full cranky jowls going, where she's got like these long floopy jowls that hound dogs get, and when she's cranky, she sort of like gets the ends of them stuck in her mouth.
oh yeah.
Yeah. Um, I need to take a picture and like send that to my mailing list or something.
Oh yeah. I feel I don't have any pets, and I think it does my newsletter a disservice. I constantly think maybe I should just Photoshop cats in everywhere in my house.
Better not to have the animal if you don't.
Yeah, I'm not. Plants are complicated enough for me. And we're gonna do another sprint at 140 because today apparently is turning into a grind.
Oh, that's fine. I need to get another several hundred words minimum. I've got this game thing I play.
What do you kind of set as like your daily total?
I try to do a minimum of about 500 words,
Okay.
and I'm on this like writing gaming site where you have to write words in order to beat monsters and
Oh,
hit little.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I do that, and that kind of keeps me on a schedule because I'm not that great with schedules and being consistent, and it has helped me write every day, even though there's a part of me that's like set numbers every day, squashing my soul,
Um,
and then it's like, but I still need to do it, and this is a good way where I'm not like totally bored.
so I did before the quarantine, my goal was 750 words a day.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, my daily average has gone up to 1,400 words a day. And as of this morning, I crossed over 200,000 words for the year,
Nice.
um, which is more than I have written in the last 4 years. And it's only halfway through the year.
Yeah,
So,
I'm inconsistent. Sometimes I'm on a roll, sometimes I'm not. The setting the goal kind of helps me be a little more consistent. Um, it will actually tell me my stats if I look. Does it tell
we,
me how many I've done this year? Week.
when
Okay.
the quarantine started, we started a Discord server for the New England group that I belong in, and the eventually we were just like, yeah, we'll just let anyone in, as long as you're writing and good people, sure, why not? And so since then, like noon every day, because I have to be at my desk for work.
Mm-hmm.
Um, occasionally I have to answer emails from students. Um,
From like the
and
40.
yeah, And so no student ever emails me. So I wind up doing these live sprints, and it's consistently I'm hitting most of my benchmarks, even if I'm sometimes being grumpy about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not as consistent. I have my bad days with migraines and family and stuff.
Yeah, and I think if you, for some people, like when I'm doing normal work, I
Hmm.
teach high school during the day, I teach college at night, and requiring to get 1,000 words out, you come home and then you begrudgingly write and you hate it, and it loses, some of the magic of being able to do it. So I think being flexible is a really
Yeah,
big piece.
I think it is too. I used to do technical writing
Oh,
for
okay.
software and web stuff, and I can say at the end of the day, I would come home and it'd be like, I really want to be creative, but I am so sick and tired of Word. I think at one point I was maintaining 62 different help systems
Oh, oh
and like
Lord.
3 or 4 developers references. So I'm a much faster technical writer than I am a superhero author.
Yeah,
Um,
when I have to do school writing, I can bang that out no problem. But
it
use my
doesn't hurt.
imagination.
It doesn't hurt that with the tech writing, there's basically a template so that your help systems are consistent throughout, and you don't get crazy. Um, one page in the help sounds like this, and you've like over described everything, and the other page it's like, well, press this button, complete the form, and you're done. So so at least with that writing, a good portion of it was all right. I know what format it has to take. That's already taken out half the work right there. I have to do
One
my paragraph. I have to do my to do this, and then the links.
one of the guys in my writing group, he writes the templates for technical, like for a, he does like a very specific piece of science equipment that they're remaking, evolving, and adapting to new technologies and stuff. And so when he got brought on board, he wrote the templates that other tech writers would eventually use. So he oversaw some of the tech department, and now he got promoted up the chain, and now he does the he oversees the people who does the templates, and he now does the training using the template, using all the tech writing stuff. um, so he goes into the medical places,
Mm-hmm.
and here, like, I've read some of his stuff and I'm like, it reads really smoothly, but wow, this would, I think, squash me.
Yeah, I mean it's. I mean that's actually where developers references were fun because if I don't have to do the math, I am really good at like serious indexing,
Okay.
which I think a good developer's reference really needs. I mean, m- most developers, when they bother to use a reference, they're going to do either a search or if it's a paper book, it's usually like right to the index if they don't know the section of the book they need.
Yeah, that
So
makes sense.
I can organize the heck out of that kind of info. If they're like, okay, here's a list of our functions, and here's a really crappy description of what they do, and here's where you can look to see what inputs we need for them. And I can be like, okay, I can organize this so it is a consistent developer reference, and that actually gave me some of the creative space that some of the help systems didn't. That and trying to explain some of the concepts when they're a little more convoluted than name, address, you know, and trying to use vocabulary that is amenable to translation.
Oh, I didn't even
Be-
think about that.
yeah, well, the some of the software I worked on was for very large organizations, and they translated their software.
Yeah,
So
my lesson plans have to get translated into 3 languages, and on the assignments that I have to translate, you'll notice that my language becomes much more basic and rudimentary, which I'm sure helps everybody, but it's because I'm using Google Translate, I'm not using an official translator, and the more complicated the sentence structure, the more Google just mashes it all to bits.
yeah, yeah. And then there's all those subtle words that don't necessarily translate all that well.
Well, like I have things like the lasso I have to reference. It, my Portuguese students are constantly wondering why I'm talking about rope so much.
Yeah.
No, 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 that's not what I mean. Though it makes it way more interesting. All right, I'm gonna hop back into a sprint until 2 o'clock.
Okie dokie.
More words.
Mas y mas.
Woot! 494.
Nice. Let me subtract my 140. 510.
Oh, damn.
Sometimes get on a roll.
Yeah, I know exactly what needs to be written for like the next 10 chapters. So I think I can keep up a pretty good roll.
No, I'm also doing a lot of dialogue, which is
Yeah.
generally pretty fast for me. The fight scenes, I got to break out the action figures and stuff, but dialogue I can do.
All right. I need to go for a walk, and then I have a work meeting at 3. Super exciting.
Ooh. But it pays you, so ooh.
Yeah, as long as they keep giving me a paycheck, I'll show up to all these meetings. But we will keep coming back at noon, basically. So we're here, or somebody's here.
Alrighty.
If it helps get the words out, join us whenever you feel the need to get some writing done.
Well, I hope that some of the people who were sprinting with us got some good writing in.
I certainly hope so.
Where people were like, I only got so much on the first one, but
more words.
Yes.
All right.
Today.
I will chat with you later.
Mm-hmm.
And you have yourself a good rest of your day.
You too. Good luck with those meetings. And good job, Alley Cat.
Yeah, good job, Kaleem.
You
guys are we got a couple people coming in here. Good job.
Well, we're scintillating individuals. Take care.
Take care, everyone.
Alrighty, bye-bye.
Bye.